Reports coming out of Giants minicamp are that Jalin Hyatt is struggling and has been running with the third team. We're going to break that down, and I'm going to tell you if I am nervous or really worried about the reports of Jalin Hyatt. You're watching New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel because just because it's June and July, that doesn't mean our coverage is going to stop. We're going to continue to put out videos every day about the latest Giants news and rumors. So hit that sub button and help us get to 30,000 subs. So over the weekend, NFL Rookie Watch, which really has been a Twitter page that has really started to blow up. And what they do, obviously, is they talk about NFL rookies. And they tweeted out and said, Jalin Hyatt has reportedly been mostly working with the Giants' third team throughout off-season practices. Hyatt reportedly has, quote, an uphill climb to see any kind of consistent playing time this season. Many who have observed Giants practices say it's hard to see a substantial role for Hyatt this year without injuries. However, Giants wide receiver coach Mike Groh has reportedly been impressed with Hyatt's route running abilities. Time will tell for the rookie wide receiver. And this kind of sent everybody on Giants Twitter into shambles. And then Jalin Hyatt, the following morning, tweeted out, I love starting from the bottom. Makes the come up more satisfying. I wonder who he was talking about in that tweet. But after the NFL Rookie Report put that tweet out, my man Art Stapleton, who was one of the best Giants beat reporters in the game, quote tweeted that and said, as someone who was at all four of the Giants open practices this spring, I'd say making a definitive statement about Jalin Hyatt's rookie season is a bit premature based on what transpired in 7-on-7 live drills and 11-on-11 walkthroughs to this point. Then Brandon London, who works for the Giants social media team, said, one, quote your sources. I was just in the Giants facility. Those I talked to about Hyatt think the kid has juice. Love that word. Always an uphill climb for a rookie during OTAs. Daboll's playbook will take more time to learn than the Tennessee Volunteers. Then he quoted at the end and said, Alexa, save this tweet. I call Cap. And then Patty Traina, who does a great job covering the Giants as well, and said, no disrespect here, but this isn't news. The team has had, a dozen or so padded practices since the draft. Let's see how the dust settles after training camp. I love how all of the Giants beat reporters, and there's way more in this. You can go just to the tweet and look at the quote tweets. Everyone pretty much called BS about the report, really loose word I'm going to use there, about that tweet from NFL Rookie Watch. So I want to ask you, I don't know if it's true. I mean, he has been working with the third and second team. He's been working more in Tyrod Taylor than Daniel Jones, but he's also a third-round pick, and the Giants have a stacked wide receiver core in terms of depth. So I want to ask you, are you worried about Jalin Hyatt? I want to hear from you down below. It's going to be the pinned comment on today's show in the comment section. So when you get hit with that YouTube ad break, let me know. Are you worried about Jalin Hyatt? Type Y for yes, N for no. For me, not a chance, not a sliver. No, I am not worried at all about Jalin Hyatt and what is going on in Giants minicamp in OTAs. You know why he's not working with the first team offense? Because he was a third-round pick, and the Giants have 8 or 9 guys fighting at that wide receiver position to make the roster. Art Stapleton, another great tweet on this, and said, as far as the numbers game at wide receiver for the Giants, here's the reality. Jalin Hyatt has a huge advantage over just about every other wide receiver on the roster. He's on the 53-man roster, period. If they keep 6 wide receivers, he's one of the 6. That's how close he is to significant time. And I'm in a 100% lockstep agreement with Art Stapleton. When you are picked in the third round, you are going to make the roster. But the reason that he's working with that second and third team is because the Giants have an Isaiah Hodgins. They have a Darius Slayton. They have a Paris Campbell. They have a veteran in Jamison Crowder. They have Colin Johnson. They had David Sills. And I didn't even mention Wan'Dale Robinson and Sterling Shepard, who are coming back from injury. The Giants are going to keep 6 or 7 wide receivers. And I think the locks at the position are Hodgins, Slayton, Campbell, Hyatt, That's 4. And then you got Shepard and Wan'Dale Robinson, who could start the season on the PUP or be healthy. That's 6. And then you're really looking at Jamison Crowder, David Sills, Jeff Smith as a potential kind of special teams guy. The Giants are going to have to, the guys at this position are going to have to battle it out. But I know this for a fact. Jalin Hyatt, he's 100% making the roster, and I'm not worried about any of this. We'll get to some of his stats and why I think he's going to be a big piece on this offense. But if you love the NBA and you love the New York Knicks, it's NBA draft season this Thursday. We are going to be live on New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports, a.k.a. youtube.com/Knicks TV. Myself, producer Seeps, we're going to be live for all 58 picks of the NBA draft. And I want you guys to hang out with us. And I would appreciate it if you go and subscribe over there. If you're a Giants fan and you're a Knicks fan, go subscribe to Knicks Now, youtube.com/Knicks TV, and join us this Thursday for live coverage of the 2023 NBA Draft. I don't know if Mr. NFL Rookie Report is, first time around the block covering the NFL or whatever you want to call his Twitter account. I may go on a limb right here. Third-round wide receivers don't typically start in the summertime at practice. I mean, even Seep said it. Jordan Addison, who was picked inside the top 25 in the NFL draft, is, I don't want to say struggling, but has been a little bit slow to learn the playbook. And that is what happens with rookies. There's a learning curve. You start to learn new concepts. Your coach doesn't call the plays at the line of scrimmage. It's a different type of game. It's not college football. It's professional football. There's a learning curve. Also, I would say this. The fact that Jalin Hyatt, your third-round pick, may be working with the second and third team more than the first team, that's a great problem to have. Would you rather have Jalin Hyatt working with your third team or have the situation last year where Marcus Johnson was your number one wide receiver for multiple games in a season? Depth was a problem last year for the Giants at the wide receiver position. It's not anymore. You needed competition this summer. And that's exactly what Joe Schoen did. Competition always brings out the best players. And that's what you want. The Giants are no longer razor thin at the wide receiver position. But I also know this. They didn't just trade up in the third round for nothing. The Giants drafted Jalin Hyatt for a reason. Because he is the most explosive rookie wide receiver in the National Football League. And that is an area that the New York Giants struggled in the 2022 season. So I want to bring up these stats. We brought them up a couple times on the channel before, but not everybody gets to watch every video. So look at this. These are the teams ranked 1 to 10 who had the most explosive pass plays last season. And of these teams, the total record was 113-55, which is 11.4 wins per 17 games. So if you are a top explosive pass play team in the National Football League, you're going to be pretty damn good. 11.5 wins. But on the contrary, if you're in the bottom 10 teams like the New York Giants were, from ranked 23 to 32 in explosive pass plays, the record of those teams are 59, 107, and 4, which means of these 10 teams right here, they, on average, win 5.9 games per 17. The only team to make the playoffs on screen right here were the New York Giants, and they had the second least amount, of explosive pass plays. So how do you become more explosive? You get the most explosive wide receiver leaving college football, and that's what Jalin Hyatt was, averaging 18.9 yards per catch and had 15 touchdowns and absolutely destroyed the Alabama Crimson Tide defense. Nick Saban is still having nightmares of the 5-touchdown performance that Hyatt had. 67 receptions last year, almost 1,300 yards. Hyatt was in the end zone more often than not. But it wasn't just the season stats and the raw stats. We talked about explosive plays, explosive plays, explosive plays. The Giants have to become more explosive. Well, how about you get Hyatt, the most explosive player in college football? He had 15 catches last year of over 30-plus yards. Number one in college football. He had 11 catches of more than 40-plus yards. Number one in college football. 7 catches of more than 50-plus yards. Number one in college football. The man had 5 catches of more than 60-plus yards. And you guessed it, number one in college football. He also had the second most deep yards in the NCAA last year. So I want to ask you this question. How many touchdowns will Jalen Hyatt have this season for the New York Giants in his rookie year? I want to hear from you guys down in the comment section. Let me know how many TDs will he have. And as always, we appreciate you guys for tuning in to New York Giants Now by Chat Sports.